All right, what is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Big thank you to everyone out there, as always, for watching and for listening, following, subscribing. Appreciate you guys very, very much. It might sound a little different to you guys right now because we are actually recording this episode live at Mooney Sports Bar, 1531 Military Road. Kenmore, Tonawanda. What is this, Tone Pucks? Is this Kenmore or Tonawanda technically?
No, Kenton's perfect.
Kenton's perfect?
Yeah, Kenton's perfect.
I enjoyed for the first time, by the way, in a long time, actually. I went back and looked it up. September 4th. You haven't even been on during the season, dude. The last time you were on was like a week before the season or so.
I wouldn't have even guessed that that I got that one in. I didn't know that we went that close to the season, but yeah, man. I mean, we got a whole season worth of football that we could digest, process, and talk about tonight. We won't, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just it's that's the most obvious thing of all. What's it all matter at this point, right? It's 3 games, the potential for 4 games ahead is all anyone's going to start talking about. I'll say tomorrow because we're doing this on Wednesday, but like come Thursday, all right?
Sure.
It's on, bro. I mean, everybody's talking this game. Everybody's talking. People sometimes when the Bills have their Wednesday walkthrough, which all of a sudden Wednesday became a walkthrough, people are a little quiet on Wednesdays. Starting Thursday, it's a playoff weekend.
I agree, 100%. And by the way, I would say Wednesday's walkthrough was kind of important for 2 reasons. Actually, the practice didn't mean anything, but Amari Cooper being back matters, and Terrell Bernard, no mystery this week. No, we'll see how the week goes. Sean said he's good to go for Sunday. We'll get into some Bills stuff here in just a few minutes. I do want to give props right off the bat here again. Mooney Sports Bar and Grill, Military Road, very gracious host. I just banged out some wings. You were having conversations with some old friends. Cool stuff. The wings here are always good. This is the mac and cheese place. So this is your neighborhood, basically. You're just down the road. This is a trek for me at this point.
Yeah.
Which back and forth twice.
This is perfect. I think the location is solid.
It is.
We hit it. We definitely if there were a way to pan to the dining room, you would see an absolutely empty one. I think we hit it late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that.
I think we hit it late. I do too. I'm not sure the service people do because they might have been able to bounce by now or soon. So I'm gonna buy some shit and fucking tip them heavy. But if we could get this as a thing, go a little earlier. Some of our people from the neighborhood and stuff like that. Plus, I only got to drive 3 blocks. I'm thinking monthly. I'm thinking maybe monthly. I'm thinking it could be a thing.
Full disclosure, too. I know the owner here, Chris McCann. Shout out to him. I have a relationship that goes back with him 3 decades, literally. In fact, I'm kind of, disclosing my age here in a way, but I'll go all the way back to 1994. My first job ever at a bar was a bar back at Cheers on Hurdle, and Chris was a very young bartender on Hurdle, and we became fast friends then, and we've been friends ever since. I love this place. This is a really cool spot, man. Nice.
I do too. Can we talk about your age though?
My
I
age?
feel like I feel like your age. Look, man, we ain't hung out for a minute, all right? And your age has come up over the course of the past few months. It's come up in a derogatory way. And if you give me the opening, I want to talk all about your social space off. I ain't talking about that, man. I ain't talking about where we are comparatively. I'm talking about, all right, when you get into a little Twitter debate with some of the younger, TikTok-y guys and guys who like to, talk about their numbers and stuff like that. They attack your age.
They do.
All right. They attack your age, and I got a problem with that because I'm the same age, man.
Dude, these parodies, these people like that, though, they're just taking guesses. They're talking about me being single. Dude, I've been married for 23 and a half years.
That's where they get that wrong big time. All right.
So what dude said I'm 5'2" in my parody profile or whatever. I'm not tall, but I'm like 5'9".
No, yeah. I'm short in comparison. But yeah, no, man. Some of the ones that miss big on the marriage thing that you brought up, how long you've been married or whatever. Yeah, that one that annoys me. But I think I'm annoyed. I start by being annoyed at like any age discrimination. And then I get annoyed, especially if they get like a good one in, and I'm like, "That's fucking bullshit." I'm the one who gets to.
You're the better hater.
I'm the one who gets the rib on him for that shit.
I do.
Let me tell you something. I could take you from A to Z on that online beef and how I feel about absolutely every single stage of it, and I wouldn't be dogging nobody to do it. Like I could put it into perfect clarity and focus, but it looks like that died on the vine. A lot of your beefs do. A lot of your beefs die on the vine. That's part of the pandering, persona.
Sure.
And I think that's the right way to be. I think it's right to have those beefs die on the vine, but I would have definitely jumped on a mic when that was going down, because I had some shit to say. I did, bro. I had some shit to say.
For people who have been listening to this show for quite a while, you know Tone Butts by now. Newbies are like, what the fuck is going on in the first 5 or 6 minutes or so of this show. On a serious note, though, and I am being serious.
I'm sorry. Do you think you get newbies?
Of course I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right.
It's always newbies, man. That's the way podcasts evolve.
Really?
Yeah. Shout out to the newbies here.
Three newbies.
Three newbies. 3 to 5.
There's 3 fucking newbies on this right now.
I do on a serious note, though, man. All right. So we are here at Mooney's. I love this place. I called Chris up. I said, I'd love to do a show here. Made it a little, I want to say convenient to do it here, though, for an unfortunate reason. You and I, which, by the way, dress reasonably well right now here, even at this time of night. For me, I don't got a hoodie on, so that's a big W for me. I always got a hoodie on if you happen to be watching us on the video side. But in all seriousness, man, yet another person from our childhood, our youth, passed away unexpectedly around our age, and we gathered at a wake out here in Tonawanda. Sucks. Shitty news, and it's just happening way too often, man. And
lots of fuel for the fucking year-old as fuck crowd right now, bro. Lots of fuel for the year-old as fuck crowd. Of course, I'm there already. I'm just saying.
I'm talking about people who are
the rest of them.
Listening. Yeah, you're gonna get to that point, man.
Man. We ended up connecting because of a wake, and that's a shitty way to connect. But the fact that it gave us a chance to finally do this, because it's been, like you said, several months, and a chance to catch up with some peeps. Good stuff.
Yeah, for sure, stuff. Man. Unfortunately,
high-ranking peeps. There was a high ranker in there. All right, there was a high ranker. High-ranking Lenova's official. All right, in the mix tonight.
Impressive.
In the mix tonight.
I want to. All right, so let's get into some football talk. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It is unfortunate circumstances, but it's good to be here, and it's good to be at Mooney's. We'll get into some football talk here. Well, let me ask you this. This has been beat into a horse. And by the way, I was interested in trying to give you some prep, and you had no interest in receiving any prep.
Oh, I was so social. I was so social. I could not
stop talking.
Possibly have enough conversations going at the same time. I was That's so fair. Social this evening.
I do want to ask you on the whole, and I've had my thoughts said them ad nauseum, so I'm not really going to rehash what I keep saying, but probably, I don't know if I want to call it a debate. At this point, it's just ugliness, is fighting, two fan bases going at each other. That's become the bigger story. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, both clearly MVP worthy. I trust you to give me an objective, honest answer, even though you are, unabashedly a Bills fan. But if you had one of those 50 votes right now that are going out to crown the 2024 NFL MVP, before we get into some Broncos stuff, we're talking plenty of Broncos here, Bills, Broncos, but Who's your MVP right now?
I'm so glad you asked me about that because honestly,
you haven't tweeted about it, or if you have, I haven't paid attention.
I could have gone. I could have gone this whole show without even thinking about it, unless you brought it up. But I do feel strongly, about the take or about my position on it. And like you just said, I haven't even tweeted about it, dude. I have had no interest in the back and forth with Lamar and Josh whatsoever. Like the talking heads, the fan bases,
it's players too.
None of it.
It's everybody.
None of it has been of any sort of interest to me whatsoever. I mean, I have an opinion, and no,
keep going. There's the camera line, but it'll come right back. No, we're still live, so
I don't want to say my point without the camera being on me, though. I mean, I want people to be able to see my face when I make the point.
There it is. There's the face.
All right. Now I forgot my point. No, honestly, Shope, surprisingly in sarcastic form, has the exact same opinion. I feel like I did have it before, Mike, so it's not like I'm biting it from him. But I have a hard time. I believe a third MVP is just a huge, huge game changer in the lore of, how a player will be remembered. Mm-hmm. All right. A 3-time MVP guy is just, it's not just gold jacket for a 3-time MVP. All right. It's talking about him in ways that you just don't really talk about. Very small company. Mm-hmm. And even though I think this year has been better, maybe not than his first MVP, but certainly than last year's. I mean, I ain't breaking any news here. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I start from the premise of staying away from the 3-time MVP, and then I move to, all right, I mean, is there anybody more deserving or something like that? Like, I'm not going to just going to not give him his third just because I don't think he belongs in that.
I don't think he should. That should be why company. He doesn't win.
But I mean, the way Josh was playing this year and the ease with which he was putting up numbers, honestly, and ironically, maybe even solidifying it in a 2-game stretch where he didn't even fucking win the first game. All right, he may have solidified this MVP for me in a Rams Detroit stretch where the stats were just, nuts. And then I do agree with the people that want to make the point of, what he has, the arsenal that he has versus the arsenal that Lamar has, and, how people define valuable. So my vote would be to Josh. It might not be Josh if this were a season where Lamar Jackson was sitting there with 0 or even 1 MVP award, but I think I would go Josh. But holy cow, the back and forth, just the engagement in general on this topic, I have had 0 use for, and I have engaged in 0
That's
times.
Smart, because it is. Really, it's
the same way I handle
and physically
the election.
Exhausting.
It's the same way I handled the election, bro. All right, I couldn't tell you it was like a year ago. I could tell you a whole fucking news report. Yeah. Now I couldn't tell you the top 3 stories.
I was just talking with Matt Moran from SB Nation about this on the show literally yesterday with this. This being like an election, not an election nowadays, an election back in the day where 2 people kind of had respect for each other, but you got to make the other opponent look lesser than to build your case. So there are Bills fans out there who are doing that, and there are also Raven fans out there who are doing the same thing.
It is 100% Bills fan. Okay, the reason. Okay, listen.
No.
Listen
I've been
to
in the
me.
Wheeze with Ravens flock for fucking 10 days now.
Because you go way too far outside of core smart opinions. Okay, you dip your toe because you need to have viewers. You dip your toe into idiotic fringe opinions, and then you end up in the Ravens flock or whatever the fuck that is. All right, who cares about the Ravens flock? You're in the middle of awful opinion makers.
Fair enough. Anyway, you vote for Josh Allen. That was your long-winded way of saying you got one of 50, and that vote at the end of the day is going for Josh Allen.
Yes.
I want to ask you this because even tonight we had a group of friends right before we went live here that were asking you. They asked me earlier, what are the Bills' chances of winning the Super Bowl and so on and so forth. And I've been hearing it a ton. I'm sure you have as well. Social media. And
where the fuck am I hearing it? Where are people asking me about the Bills' chances to win a Super Bowl?
Then maybe no one cares.
I don't talk to anybody. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I don't fucking leave my house.
Fair enough. All right. Well, then let me ask you this then, okay? Forget about if the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm excited to see this guy too under terrible circumstances. How many times have we said that at Awake? I mean, put that in the middle of a bingo card. Put that in the middle of a bingo card. The number of times at Awake, Awake bingo card. Oh, it's so good to see you under the circumstances. That is the middle space of Awake bingo card.
That excites you? You know what excites me? Being potentially to be able to get through a take without you interrupting it. It's probably not going to happen, but I will try again. Or actually, this isn't even a take; it's a question.
All right. I get to talk again. I get to talk again as soon as you're done with the question.
I guess so.
Let's go.
All right. So it's not about if the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl right now. My thought when I am asked that is, if the Bills are, forget about winning the Super Bowl. If the Bills are a legitimate, true Super Bowl contender. If you really, truly believe that, like the Bills absolutely can win the Super Bowl right now, you shouldn't be scared of the Denver Broncos. That's my take right now. It's not that I don't respect Denver. It's not that I don't think they're a good football team. But if you're serious about winning a Super Bowl, but you're sitting there saying on Tuesday and Wednesday, not you specifically, but a lot of people, our boy Scully literally told me today he's scared for Sunday already. My thought is like, if you're scared of the Denver Broncos, then I don't think you consider the Bills a true, legitimate Super Bowl contender. You should be scared of the Denver Broncos in the wild card round. Is that off base?
No. What you have to do in that case, though, is you've got to dig deep and find out if the person is truly scared or just scorned. Okay. I'm not scared of the Denver Broncos because I do believe the Bills are truly a Super Bowl contender. 100%, man. Yeah. I mean, the Bills, maybe more than any other year. I think this team, it just has great balance and everything about. I like everything about this team. I like this team. All right, I like this team a lot. I just know that potentially one coin flip playoff game over the course of the past 3 weeks, all right, became 2 coin flip playoff games, and that scares me. All right, that scares me. And I'll say this: the smart people out there who do the film and things of that nature, I mean, cover one comes to mind first and foremost. They have shown some things that are advantage Denver, right? The interior passing game. It's funny though, man, dude. Honest to God, maybe 2 or 3 hours before I saw cover one break it down on Twitter, I was starting to do my playoff rosters on Madden. All right. And they're updated. Hold on. They're updated weekly. Okay. Like the rosters are updated weekly. And I get to the Broncos, just, making sure that my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. And I start to look at the ratings on that offensive line. I'm like, holy fuck. Yeah. All right. This is a strength. This is a strength. So yeah. Some of the film about Denver's strengths and some of the conversation about how, Sean Payton really seems to be in a play calling rhythm with his quarterback right now.
They've averaged 32 points a game for the last 7 weeks. That's a pretty big sample size.
Lot of weeks.
Yeah.
Man, I swear to God, I don't think I'm being, overly scorned when I say this. There is a argument for Denver plus the points. There's a good argument for Denver plus points.
That's fair.
All right. And, I was just going to say, I'm not going to do it.
But this is the best team the Bills have played in the wild card round during the Josh Allen era. I think it's fair to say that. If you think about it this way, last year they played the Mason Rudolph quarterback Pittsburgh Steelers. The year before that, it was a Skylar Thompson quarterback Miami Dolphins. And they had rookie Mac Jones. And then they had the year before that, it was Indianapolis. So I thought it was a pretty weak team. Like this to me is far and away their toughest opponent, but that doesn't make you scared.
I'm gonna like nobody wants to hear this conversation, but I would offer you this because it came up on GR today. Mm-hmm. That Mac Jones Patriots team just beat the Bills like 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
And everyone was loving on that team. It was only a 4-point spread. 4. All right. This one's like 9 this week.
Is it really 9? That was like 7.5. Maybe it is 9. I don't know. Whatever. It's more than a touchdown. Yeah. It's more than a touchdown.
And oh shit. What was the other one? Oh, I believe the Phillip Rivers Indy game was like only 5. And Phillip Rivers is better than any quarterback in any of those other wild card matchups that you could mention. So there's an argument to be made for the opponents in the early years. But I get what you're saying. The last two. I mean, we played third round. We played third string quarterbacks in the last 2 years.
Bo Nix is a rookie, and we'll talk about how Sean's fared against rookies here in a few minutes. But he's certainly no scrub. That's for damn sure. One thing I love about the Bills right now, talk about this a little bit, their health. Like this team right now, it's been a lot of nagging, couple week injuries here and there. They've been able to avoid like the season-ending type injury all year, knock on wood. And they've had those nagging injuries, couple weeks at a time, the wrist, things like that. But you're going into the playoffs now. This team is literally as healthy as they've been since week 1. I mean, quite literally. Brandon Condrington, hamstring, he's probably not going to be able to go this week. Punt returner, kick returner aside, though, this team is fully healthy. Like, there ain't no excuses, is what I'm telling you right now.
Bro, when you clinched the division in week 11 or whatever it was, I would expect this to be the case. All right, barring anything, unforeseen. The type of injury that happens, that you just can't do anything about, and you're out 4 to 6, high ankle sprain, maybe something like that. But when not having to push anybody through an injury, all right, after you win the division in week 11,
sure,
I expect this team to be going into this game as healthy as they are. And the cool thing is, man, is McDermott, you're getting that in McDermott, right? Like, Sean McDermott gives mad fucks when it comes to being healthy to start the postseason.
They've been conservative.
He's so good at that. He's so good at that. Bro, he's so good at so many things. All right. Anyone who jumps on the line and talks about, being done with McDermott because you can't get over this.
I don't think anyone serious says that. I don't think
GR got a well-articulated call on it today. I get it, man. I mean, you're talking maybe 6 to 8% of the fan population. But my point isn't those not to call them idiots. My point isn't, that position on McDermott. My point is more just, I think he does so many things right, and making sure that they're healthy coming into this,
as much as a person can. I mean, sure. When it comes to like a decision, all right. So I thought potentially DeMar Hamlin misses 3 weeks, and he played every snap against the Patriots. There was and then even not just fans, I would say a lot of media people too were wondering, and it was asked early in the week, if Cole Bishop might start ahead of DeMar Hamlin. And I was wondering if that may be the case, but Sean quickly kind of squashed that and said DeMar Hamlin is the starter. How does that sit with you? Do you think that's the right call? Because believe it or not, even though a lot of people think I'm a DeMar Hamlin hater, I actually think he deserves to be starting. Not even deserves, he should be starting at this point in the playoffs.
I had a conversation with my longtime girlfriend today about you being a DeMar Hamlin hater.
I'm not a DeMar Hamlin hater.
I know you're not. I
don't think he's a very good starting caliber safety. He's the definition of what mid is in the NFL. Now, you can do a lot worse than mid. I get that. Kind of my point. Cole Bishop's worse. If Cole Bishop's not well, if he's not playing good, his floor is bad. Like, Cole Bishop can go out there and get beat 3 times to get you beaten. But Cole Bishop can make plays. He's high ceiling, low floor. DeMar is not a high ceiling dude. I think he's very average. But if he does one thing, he ain't going to get beat. He has not gotten beat this season on a long touchdown pass. He ain't going to get smoked in the secondary against a guy like Cortland Sutton or Mims or someone getting behind him. You still think I'm a DeMar Hamlin hater. I'm not a DeMar Hamlin hater.
Listen.
I just don't think he's that good.
Let me tell you something, okay? going all the way back to the early 2000s, maybe 08. All right, Mike Shope would let you know. All right, this is when we were boys. I have been a huge fan of the safety position. I love talking about the safety position. I could take what you just set up on the Hamlin Bishop debate, and I could go for 15 fucking minutes. I'm not even kidding, dude.
I believe you.
Look,
That's not.
Look, what?
That's not go for 15 minutes on that, but I do want to hear.
Fuck yourself. Fuck yourself. I'm gonna put on Gallivan right now. Go fuck yourself. All right, look. I definitely thought they were poised to give that position to Cole Bishop.
Yeah.
When he came out and said, and I'll go all the way back. I'll be able to, because I'm exceptional at this. I just want you to know. All right. I'm exceptional at this. I'll roll it all into one. My conversation with the chick, the whole thing. All right.
Your conversation really not involved completely, but part of it was me being a DeMar Hamlin hater.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I let her know I was doing a podcast tonight, and, we could.
And that's the thought that came to mind. Not me being a big Wings guy or, a really popular show. She said, I'm a DeMar Hamlin hater.
Let me tell you. She said, oh, my God, I was almost about to stop following him because I know you weren't on it, anymore. And, he was a DeMar hater. You know what I mean? Something to that effect. I can't remember. I listened to 42% of what she says top.
Wow, 42, though. That's pretty good.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's better.
Better than mine.
Better than the ex-wife.
Yep.
All right. I am Team Pat when it comes to your comments on DeMar Hamlin through the first half of the season. Yeah. Okay. Especially in the games against Baltimore and Houston. He was bad. He took bad angles. He just, he just was not impressive.
Right.
And we're looking for people to blame and stuff like that. And I have no problem, all right, landing on DeMar Hamlin. Okay. I don't care how deep he plays, how many, plays he saves us over the top. I'm watching him take bad angles at running backs, and, seems to always be late to the point of a catch and stuff like that. I had a problem with DeMar Hamlin early in the season, and I have no problem with you having brought it up. All right, so let's start there. Then I saw Cole Bishop on the football field, and I got nervous. Right? And part of this is because I don't understand. I'm not 100% sure. I think we know that Hamlin's deep and Rapp is low, but when Bishop comes in, I'm not sure what I'm getting there. You know what I mean? Is he going deep for Hamlin? Maybe it's just based upon, who's down that week or something like that. But I started to like Bishop in the box more as the season went on.
Yeah.
Although I thought he missed tackles. I did. I thought he missed tackles. And also, as the season went on, I thought DeMar started to fix the issues with the angles that he was taking, turning the 8-yard gain into the 12-yard gain or the fucking house. Okay.
I think he got more active. I think he was a more willing and active tackler and coming up into the box more as the season went on. I think he's a better tackler than Cole Bishop. I agree with that's a good take from you. I definitely think he's a better tackler than Bishop.
Yeah, but he's also usually, making the 8 to 12 yard downfield hip tackle, not the illegal version of the hip tackle, right, but just, a drag down versus Bishop, who's got the ability to come in, all right, come into the hole and keep a 2-yard carry from being a 6-yard carry, which I think, and I know McDermott's not going to switch it up, all right, but I'd offer you this. Cole Bishop might be the better safety option against a team like Baltimore than he is against a team like Denver. You know what I'm 100%. Saying?
This might be matchup dependent, like who's playing.
He won't do that. He won't do that. If Hamlin and Rapp are his starters, then Hamlin and Rapp are his starters. You
need a better in the box safety.
He's not doing that.
Yeah, it could be. It could be, man. I see you, Raphael. We're live at Moody's.
Yeah.
Long time buddy, Raphael.
Yeah.
The ratings just went up to 1,000. Look at that.
Shitty circumstances, but a great guy to run into, man. And a handsome motherfucker too. He's got those nice jeans too. Like I think there's rips in his jeans and stuff like that. And when like 50 plus got rips in their jeans, they're kind of it's fly. What?
Yeah, I do
You do got ripped jeans. I know you got ripped jeans.
All right,
I've seen them
guys, have a good
shits.
night. We'll talk to you guys
All right,
later.
buddy. Good seeing you, man.
I don't know these guys.
Good seeing you, Gavin.
I could pull off a ripped jean.
I don't know about that.
I couldn't. I totally could not pull off a ripped jean.
No. All right, so
you could. 5'9".
we agree
5'9"
that
could definitely pull up.
we agree Hamlin started. All right, now the other player personnel thing that really I was interested in learning about, but I think we learned that already last week was Matt Milano. Matt Milano's played 4 games, so he played 3. He was all right. He was trying to get his legs from under him. That was obvious, and then he hurts his groin, and it forces him to miss a game. And I'm like going into the finale.
Parts of a game, right? Like did he miss the following
he
week?
missed the whole. He didn't play against New England.
Okay.
So he didn't play against New England, and then you go into week 18 at Fox.
What a luxury that was. Okay, I'm sorry, but not just clinching the division, but 3 absolute chump irrelevant teams to close out the season, 2 of which are home.
Sure.
We were able to treat the end of this season like the fucking preseason, dude. That shit's huge. That shit is so huge.
Kind of going to my point though, going into Foxborough for week 18, I'm like Milano, is he playoff ready? Does Sean McDermott feel he's playoff ready? And I thought I was going to see him play at least some reps on Sunday in the finale. He didn't play a single snap. To me, that tells me Sean McDermott says this guy's ready to go.
Yeah,
he's good to go, and there's no controversy. I thought there was a point maybe a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what game it was. I want to say it was the Patriots game, the first time they played him. I thought Dorian Williams looked significantly better than Matt Milano, and I was willing at that time to say, you got to play your best 11 players on defense. Maybe Dorian Williams should be the guy to start. But the fact that Matt Milano, again, coming off a groin injury, played 1 game. Clearly McDermott saw enough in that Jets game that he sat Milano in Foxborough, and he's starting. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Hold on, I figured out what's going on. It's when we put any pressure on this table. We're still live on the audio side. I'll get the camera back up here in a second, but any pressure on the table.
This is what I'm talking about, though. All right, we're back now. Cousin Dan said no heads up on the live pod. I told you weren't fucking marketing this shit enough.
Well,
we knew it like midday today that we were doing this shit.
You
didn't tell nobody.
You made me have this at the bottom of an hour, by the way, too.
What?
I said 9:10. You said 9:30, not 10.
Bottom of the hour.
You
That sounds so fucking podcasty. Like your numbers, bottom of the hour numbers when compared to this. Was it a Corsi? Want to talk about Sabres? I'll talk about the fucking Sabres. Hold on real quick. I'll do it right now in 90 seconds. Probably less. Honestly, probably less. Nobody remembers what we're talking about anyways. The Sabres might have just fallen ass backwards into lines that are going to make them not suck for the rest of the season. I don't think for a minute that they're going to make a playoff run, but I truly think they may have fallen ass backwards into lines that are going to work. All right, that's all I'm saying. Ryan McLeod and Alex Tuck. I've been dying for Alex Tuck to play with another third winger for like fucking 2 years. All right, watch that shit work, because you know why it's going to work? Because they're both third wingers. I'm going to bet them. I'm going to parlay the Sabres and Ohio State to win the national championship tomorrow night. Sabres beat the Senators tomorrow night. Tell you right now. All right, I'm telling you right now, the Buffalo Sabres are going to beat the Ottawa Senators tomorrow night.
We are live here at Mooney's on Military Road. I don't give a shit about the Sabres at this point. I truly don't. I will say this. Your cousin in our little 3-person group text might be somehow more negative than you are, which is...
Oh, he's a trolling motherfucker, man.
I don't know. Is he trolling or is he legit just like...
he's very negative.
Like one bad play and it's like the Bills are done.
Yeah. No, he's fun. He's fun as shit when it comes to that.
Being concerned now, on a serious note, I said it earlier.
You and the fucking serious notes. Are we going to talk about another wake or something? Or the fuck?
The Bills, Jesus Christ, man. What a disaster. This is going to be that show that 2 years from now I look back and be like,
you're out of your mind. We've been completely in sync. You're out of your mind, dude.
Early in the show, I talked about how I think if the Bills are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, that you should not be scared of the Denver Broncos. And I stand by that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have concerns. What about the Buffalo Bills? You said you like just about everything with this football team. Being honest and objective right now, going into this game on Sunday, the first round, What about the Buffalo Bills? Now, I'm not the Denver Broncos per se, but what about the Buffalo Bills with this matchup concerns you the most,
All right.
if anything?
Yeah, no, it's fine. There have been, good analysis on the interior, matchup in terms of the trenches, especially them offensively, us defensively. But the same might be true, despite as good as we protected the quarterback this year. Denver's gotten after the quarterback pretty good. But at the end of the day, listen up, because this is good. I want to make sure everybody knows that this is good.
All right.
Sorry, hands off the table.
Yeah.
Is she a server, do you think?
What?
Is she a server?
I
Like
don't know.
to where I could get one more beer?
No. Come on, what's your take, man?
We have to guard against the Broncos playing a game that limits possessions. Okay? If this becomes I don't know, man, 2 possession per quarter kind of game, I'm worried. All right. I'm definitely worried. If I'm Denver, I'm playing like, the Giants in 1990, man. I'm trying to shorten this game, and I'm trying to, stay on the field on third down or get off the field on third down. My biggest fear is that this becomes a limited possession game.
Okay.
All right. If this becomes hey, look, man, we both get the ball 3 times per quarter, then probably we're gonna win by about 3 scores. All right.
3 scores. Wow.
Maybe even
they could. Sure.
maybe even 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
But my opinion is Denver's gonna find a way to shorten this game. I'm worried. It feels a lot to me, even though, you're talking Hall of Fame quarterback versus rookie quarterback. All right. I'm going almost all the way back to the beginning of the wild card conversation. And it feels a lot like the Indianapolis team, the Phillip Rivers Indianapolis team that we built. They're upstart, and they've got guys. They've got guys. So, I'm going to need to get up about 10 points to start to feel like, okay, all right, on to Lamar.
The biggest thing about the Bills that concerns me going into this game and going into the playoffs period is that every team they're playing, I'll say this, Denver, again, they're a competitive team. They are a legitimate playoff team. What concerns me most about the Buffalo Bills is this is a defense that all season long has been literally reliant on takeaways. Like, they win and the defense is successful because of takeaways. And if you play a team where the quarterback doesn't turn the ball over, they don't turn the ball over, it's a completely different game, because I don't think this defense, the Bills defense, is all that good. They're not good in a lot of things metrically. They don't get off the field on third down. They do a lot of things bad, but their pass rush isn't great either. But what they do to make up for all that is get turnovers. They get takeaways. So if you're not getting 2 to 3 takeaways against, I don't care if it's Denver, Baltimore, Kansas City, whoever it may be, that's going to be an issue for me. Steven, you think this defense is just flat out good?
No.
What are you watching this year then? Because I don't think they're that good.
No.
They get takeaways.
If you're catching my stink face right now, I'll tell you why. All right. It's a fucking completely unoriginal take. It's been talked about all week long.
Well,
all right. There's no question. It's not original. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you bit it. I'm not saying you bit it. All right. I'm just saying it's just, it's what everybody's talking about.
They should be talking about it.
Okay, fine. But here's what I'll say. They could get away with a Denver game without the big takeaway, because I do think they'll ultimately get off the field. All right, they'll get off the field against Denver, and I don't think Peyton needs to be ultra aggressive. All right, if Peyton's really coming here to win, then Peyton needs to fucking go for it on 4th and 2 from his own 40-yard line. All right, down 3-0 in the first quarter. Okay, that's how Sean Payton needs to play. If Peyton comes in here like a bitch, then it's it just ain't happening, and we don't need the turnovers to win that game. We will need the turnovers, all right, to flip a fucking game or a field or whatever against a guy like Lamar Jackson, like the Taron Johnson play. All right, that's how you win a football game. Although I don't think this year's game is going to be 17-10. That'll be interesting. Like if it ends up Baltimore and Buffalo again, you look back at the last time they played, what was it, 17-10, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
My money's on it. My money's on this one being a shootout. My money's on this one being a shootout.
Two best players in the league, a quarterback playing against each other. They're definitely.
When you start to flip coins, you need those turnovers.
Look, but you will
beat the Denver Broncos with or without them. All right, as long as you get off the field. But they will need them against Baltimore and Kansas City.
You can say it's an unoriginal take, and it is. And again, I'll say it doesn't mean it's not true.
I didn't mean it meanly. Did it come across as mean? Did it come across as mean? I'd like to talk. I want to talk.
Talk with your hand off the table, man.
If it came across as mean, I feel bad.
No, but listen, that's not to say the Bills. It's not like all these takeaways are luck. I mean, they're earning most of these takeaways.
Yeah, and I don't want to insinuate that that's what you're saying. It's just takeaways are tough, man. You can play great.
It's just tough when you rely on them. They're not consistently pressuring the quarterback this year, and they're not consistently getting off the field. The stats say their third down defense sucks this year. It's been awful. So I think there's two critical elements to this game for the Bills to beat the Broncos. And again, being reliant on takeaways, that's not one of them. I'm just saying that was something to concern me. But there are two things that I think are absolutely critical. And I don't know if they've been talked about. I don't know if they're original or unoriginal or not. But one thing, and we'll stay with the defense, tackling. Denver, you look at their stats, their metrics this year, and they throw more, I think the third most screens in the NFL. They throw a lot of short to intermediate passes. They throw to the running backs a lot. They run the ball. They mix it in well. The Bills got to come up and tackle. They got to have a good tackling game. Like guys like Milano and Bernard and Rasul Douglas, Taylor Rapp, these guys got to be, locked in, whipping on tackles and kind of going back to that Giants Super Bowl game, the very first one where the Bills couldn't tackle worse shit, kept the New York Giants drives going. The Bills got to be sound on tackling. They've been better this year metrically than they have in the last few years, but I still wouldn't call this a really good tackling football team. That's pretty important, right? Yeah,
absolutely, 100%, man. Honestly, it's like that fucking Dumb and Dumber meme. Just when I think you can't say it, just go totally redeem yourself. No, tackling is going to be important, but it's going to be more important against Lamar Jackson than against the.
You're almost. I'm not going to say you're quite there, but you're almost in looking past the Denver Broncos mode. You spent a lot of time. I get at the beginning of the show, but even in the last 10 minutes, as we're kind of locking in on this game, you spent a lot of time talking about the Baltimore Ravens.
You're talking about an all-time playoff game. All right, you're 1 week. You're 1 week away from talking about an all-time playoff game between two. I'm already there. Okay, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Sure,
one that's already a two-time MVP, and he's in a heated debate amongst fan bases and media, all right, against the other quarterback that they're playing that day. Are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I get it. And the funny thing is, whoever wins that game,
clip that shit. Yo, I don't know how my delivery was, but however I just set up, what'd you call it?
Said it was perfect.
What'd you call it, motherfucker?
The funny thing about that game is whoever actually wins that game, then they're probably going to go play the team to try to stop from winning 3 straight Super Bowls, which has never been done before. It has.
The AFC is so good, dude. It's so good.
I'm not there yet. Offensively, too, the biggest thing for me, the Bills, that I think is absolutely critical is this offensive line has to be on point.
You got a 90-second vamp in you?
A what?
A 90-second vamp in you?
I don't even know what a vamp means.
A vamp means you just kind of roll by yourself while I piss. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man.
Thanks, man.
All right. Live here show, which, by the way, as he leaves, because he won't be listening to this back, folks, will be the last live show ever with Tone Bucks as he goes to the bathroom literally live in the middle of a show. This is just unbelievable. Anyway, what I was starting to say is the Bills' offensive line is going to be absolutely critical in this football team. The Bills line has been a strength, not just this year, but last year as well. It has been a unit that has remained remarkably healthy. Spencer Brown missed one game this year against the Chiefs. That has been literally the only start that anyone on the offensive line, because of injury, has missed in 2 seasons. This offensive line has been really good. Deion Dawkins, of course, a Pro Bowler. Connor McGovern, not talked about enough. An alternate for the Pro Bowl, first alternate for the Pro Bowl. He has been really, really good this year. What a great move that turned out to be by the Bills organization, jettisoning Mitch Morris, a move that a lot of us criticized or at least worried about at the time. And Connor McGovern goes from guard to center, and that has been a flawless transition, quite frankly, for the Bills. You can even argue that they're better because they're better at running the football, and Connor McGovern is a bigger, more physical center. We thought there would be issues with snapping and things like that maybe in the early season, but that has literally not happened. In fact, as I'm thinking about it, I don't think Connor McGovern has had a bad snap this entire season. But anyway, my point was the Bills' offensive line, it is critical that they are on point because the Denver front four is absolutely spectacular. One of maybe even the best defensive front that the Bills have faced all year. The Denver Broncos are one of the very best defensive teams in all of football, led by Nick Benito with 13.5 sacks. Jonathan Cooper's got 10.5 sacks. Zach Allen, who might end up on some all-pro ballots at defensive tackle, he's got 8.5 sacks. So this Denver pass rush, which, by the way, the Denver Broncos lead the entire NFL in sacks this season, and they lead it by almost double digits over the second best team, which is Baltimore, which is, again, you want to talk about a class. So you got the Denver Broncos, who lead the NFL in sacks, going against the Buffalo Bills offensive line and quarterback, who have given up the least. 14 sacks the Bills have given up all season long. 63 times the Denver Broncos have brought the quarterback to the ground. So while you were having a quick little potty break there, I was just talking about the Bills offensive line being able to handle a very, very, very talented defensive front for the Broncos. Patrick Surtain is one of the best corners in the NFL, and he gets a lot of hype, and he deserves it. He's that good. He's an all-pro corner. But that defensive front really sets the tone for the Broncos. So it's going to be on the Bills offensive line to really keep playing the way they played this year. They're going to have to.
Love the X's and O's matchup of this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If we take the X's and O's out of it and we just, talk about the team that is definitely happy to be here. All right. Denver Broncos are a team that's, we like the Sabres or something. They're happy just to be here.
I agree with that.
If you take that and you take the Bills that definitely are eyeing a Super Bowl, you look at these two teams and you set the spread around 9 points, 8.5, whatever the fuck it is. You start to do the X's and O's that even our local guys have done. It's not even like the national media that's like, oh, look how Denver could do this and exploit this. No, man, it's our own. It's our own guys, which is part of the fun. If you're into that kind of thing, of the way that pod guys cover, the team locally. They're very good. And usually when I say that, man, I'm talking about Cover One, and I'm talking about, Greg Thompson and Anthony. They're very good at it. You start to see some matchups that favor the Broncos. Playoff. Let's call them playoff relevant matchups that favor the Broncos. Interior offensive line, right? Things like that. Mm-hmm. And shit, the edges too. I mean, I imagine I don't, Pat, I swear to God, I don't know half these players until I went into Madden and started to see who some of the Broncos were.
Well, they got a guy with 13.5 sacks.
Jared Allen or some shit. I don't know.
He's one of the best defensive tackles.
I don't know. I'm thinking about the guy from the Vikings.
Jonathan Cooper's got 10.5 sacks. Benito's got 13.5 sacks. For comparison, the Bills are led by Greg Rizzo with 8.5 sacks, and the Broncos got 3 guys on that team with this many sacks.
I think as good as it all sounds, man, as good as the X's and O's sounds for for Bronco fans, at the end of the day, I got a feeling we neutralize all of that shit. I got a feeling we neutralize all of that shit. I mean, the Bills,
listen, that's one thing about Denver too. Like, this defense statistically and metrically is great, but the one thing, which, by the way, on Friday's show, I'm going to have Benjamin Albright's going to be with me. Of course, Denver Broncos reporter, one of the better NFL insiders out there, an expert.
I think my numbers are actually going to exceed his. I'm just
zero chance of that, but I'm looking forward to some real insight on Benjamin. And one of the things I'm looking forward to asking him,
what the fuck's this?
I'm looking forward to asking him why a team that is as talented as Denver, who's metrically and statistically looks as good as them, they've also had some games this year in the back half of the season where they've gotten romped in terms of giving up points. They gave up 41 points to Baltimore. They gave up 32 points to the Browns. They gave up 30 points to the Bengals. And there's another team. They've given up 29 or more points 4 times in the back half of the season. So elite defenses don't really do that. So there's certainly something about that defense that you can expose. My thought would be if the offensive line does a good job and the quarterback gets time to throw, that you can sort of have your way with the back 7 on the Bronco defense, even though they got a couple good players. But what I wanted to ask you about Sean McDermott there as we're getting ready to wrap, how much stock do you put in, if any, when you look at something from a historical context? Because Sean McDermott historically has done an amazing job against rookie quarterbacks. I got it in front of me. I want to make sure I get this right. He's 11-4 against rookie quarterbacks, including 2-0 in the playoffs, and they throw for 10 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. Props to Howard Simon. I saw that on his Twitter. Those are really telling numbers, though, man. 11-4 against rookies, including 2-0 in the playoffs, and they've thrown twice as many interceptions historically. Now, sure, he's played some bad ones. Bo Nix is a playoff quarterback, but do you put stock in Sean McDermott's ability to shut down a rookie quarterback, and especially in a big game like this?
Well, first of all, I don't like how excited you were to talk about the things you want to ask Benjamin Albright tomorrow.
Are you a Broncos? You
said
right you got their names on Madden. You got their names on Madden. He covers the Broncos.
Don't underestimate what could be learned off Madden.
That is true.
Woody Johnson.
Shane knows a lot about.
You buying into that Woody Johnson's kid shit? Me neither. Although Woody Johnson's probably a big part of the problem there. Like Woody Johnson is probably like the Terry Bragula part of the Jets problem. What was the question again? No, seriously, summarize it real quick. What did you just talk about?
How much stock do you put in Sean McDermott's ability
to
shut down rookie quarterbacks?
Lots. All
right.
I think really, really good defensive minds. Okay, feast on rookie quarterbacks. There were a couple plays that I think the amount that I watched Knicks against the Chiefs might have been probably the most I've watched them all year, man. I have not been
in the finale.
Get
that out of your mind.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hold up, bro. Hold up. All right. His ability to step up in a pocket and throw a fucking line, all right, 25 yards down the seam is that shit I haven't seen from Drake May. I'm not ready. And the speed at which he chalked up fucking 5 yards on his scramble. All right, he ultimately, sorry, with the fucking hands on the table. He's fast. Okay. He's fast, and it's impressive. And he might be playing at a level right now where I would put him beyond. I'm ready to do a big giant Hulk on this table just to fuck yourself. He's playing non-rookie ball. All right, he's playing at a year 2 clip right now. He's playing at a year 2 clip. He's got an elite wide receiver. He's playing at a year 2 clip, and he's got a really good weapon in Mims. All right, they will be, they won't be easy. This is why I'm saying, all right, in the end, I truly think, there's a conversation to be had for them covering. I think there's a good chance of them covering because they have weapons. It comes down to possessions. All right, listen to me, people. I know you don't value me at all. There's so many better guys out there than me. But let me offer you this. It comes down, this game in particular, would I say this against a Detroit or a Baltimore? I'm not sure. All right. This game comes down to possessions. If we have, a game with like 13 to 16 possessions per team, now that might be high. 2 per quarter, 11 to 13 possessions per team. We win this game handily. All right. This game comes down to getting the ball enough times to make sure that our far better offense, all right, takes care of business. If this becomes for some reason like a 9-11 possession game, then there's reason to worry.
Okay. I can go now. Just making sure. I'm good to go.
Absolutely.
Everything you said is right, but I still, it's crazy to me that you are talking about a player and how he looks in a game that the Kansas City Chiefs were quite literally playing the bottom of their roster. But
bro,
anyway,
the skill sets. He
him.
throws the ball.
Sure, he does. He's got a live arm. I like Bo Nix. I don't think he's a bad player at all. Who are two more things there that we're done? Give me one or two Bills X factors for this game. Like maybe somebody, obviously Josh Allen would be the low-hanging fruit. Like give me an X factor, one or two players that you could see having a big impact on this football game that maybe aren't being talked about as much.
My man delivers. All right. I needed this. Just like the first question of the podcast. I can't remember what it was, but I was so happy that it was the Allen Lamar MVP thing. I'm glad you set me up with this one. He's not an X factor because we put him high on our list of weapons, but let's just think about what we've seen for the last month from Khalil Shakir. All right. After the Detroit, or I'm sorry, LA Detroit combo there, we saw very little. We saw very little from Shakir in the 3 games after we came off that set right there. And I think when we talk about what we're not showing, some people like to use Amari Cooper for this, right? They're like, we're not showing Cooper throwing, doing this pattern or that pattern or this element of the offense. I don't agree with that at all. I don't know. I'm not a Amari Cooper hater, but I think Amari Cooper runs about half of the route tree, and that's about it. All right. He runs about half the route tree, and he's gonna get about 3 to 6 looks a game from Josh Allen. All right. The Rams game notwithstanding, when it was a lot of garbage yards. All right. I'm not big on Cooper, but I think we've been hiding Khalil Shakir. I think, when we needed first downs early in the season in tough spots to win games coming out of the 2 losses to Houston and Baltimore, it was always Shakir, man. That motion, sometimes the motion will distract the defense. Sometimes he's pulling it away. Sometimes the motion just comes and all of a sudden he's wide open in the flat. All right. The one thing we haven't been showing people, in my opinion, for the last month is Khalil Shakir. Like I'm in a fantasy pool. This is actually a really cool pool. You draft like quarterbacks through, flexes or whatever, but you can only draft one dude from each team, and you have to fill in your quarterback through, right? So you only get one team. And my one for the Bills is going to be Khalil Shakir. I absolutely. I mean, I get it. If I believe they could go to the Super Bowl, I'll do Allen, but I'm not going to do Allen. I'm going to do Lamar because I'm always going to hedge my bets. Like I am always going to do the, try to reverse Maloki it.
So, all right. So
I like Khalil Shakir. I like Khalil Shakir in these playoffs a lot. Like, right. I mean, a lot, bro.
All right. So you got Khalil Shakir. I'm going to go a little, I think, more X Factor-y, deeper, less heralded. I think Ty Johnson's going to have a pretty big role in this game. Denver blitzes a lot. They play a lot of man coverage. He's going to be on the field a lot. I think you'll see very little Ray Davis. Maybe even a lot less James Cook in this specific game. Ty Johnson's caught some big passes too. Who
do they send, Pat? Honestly, not even like being a jerk asking you to justify it. Who do they send? Do they send outside linebackers? They send from the interior?
I haven't watched a lot of Denver film, but they're the 3rd most blitzing team in the NFL this year. So they blitz a lot, and they play a lot of man defense.
What is it? Benino was the old Pittsburgh Penguin guy. Well, Benino.
Ty Johnson's going to play a lot, and I think he's going to have a role in this game. He might, have only 4 or 5 carries, but I could see him having 4 or 5 receptions, 1 or 2 potentially big ones. And even more importantly, he's going to be a trusted pass blocker because Josh Allen does need time to find Khalil Shakir and some of these other guys out there. So I think Ty Johnson is going to be an X factor. And quickly, I think Taylor Rapp is going to be an X factor too. He needs to have a pretty good game.
Yo, people were nervous. People did not like that where he got caught coming up on the.
Well, it was terrible.
On
it was
the Milton,
awful.
on the
He's
Milton
been pretty.
touchdown.
That was an exception. I think he's been pretty, for the most part, pretty solid. But he's the kind of guy who can, lay a hit on somebody, create a turnover. He's going to have to be pretty good in coverage. Again, they're going to throw a lot of short, intermediate passes. He's going to be having to come up and make tackles. So I think Taylor Rapp is definitely an X factor. Last thing that we are out of here. We've been going now for the full hour. Give me a prediction. I'm not going to have one today. I'm going to have it on tomorrow's official Bills Broncos preview and bowl predictions episode. But I want you to give me your final prediction, one that I can hold you to. Give me. I know you're going to have win. Give me a score.
Broncos 21. Bills 31.
31-21. Sorry. So you do got the Bills covering then. All right. There are a couple things too that could sway that. They didn't even talk about Tyler Bass, and I don't want to talk about Tyler Bass. There's nothing that can be said about it that we haven't already talked about. I think for the Bills to have success too, the last thing I wanted to add is red zone. The Bills have not been metrically good in a lot of areas. Obviously, points they have.
I have something very important to tell you before we get out of here.
They've been superb in the red zone this year. I think they're the 3rd best red zone team in the NFL. So the Bills have to continue being well in the red zone. That's how you'll get to 31 on a team like that.
I have something very important to tell you before we get out of here.
Go ahead. What is it?
It's important. I owe you an apology.
Is it for leaning on the table?
Yeah, sorry. Shut the fuck up with the table. I owe you an apology.
For?
I watched the Yacht Rock documentary from Bill Simmons on HBO the other day.
Yeah.
And I've through the years I've tried to diminish your opinion and joke about Eddie Rabbit's equal status to your, fondness for Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
I've tried I've tried to diminish Kenny. And after watching Yacht Rock, man, straight G. Straight fucking G. Now, you're a big soundtrack guy, and that's kind of, what you lift up, how you lift Kenny up. But, man, his versatility in the Yacht Rock genre, I never knew it was that, that apparent. And that documentary was fantastic. Usually,
they had all the key players.
You rarely deliver. All right, you rarely deliver. You like things that are stupid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that fucking Justin Bateman Netflix show was gonna be the bomb when you hated on the back end of it, and you were totally right. You actually gave Jason. You gave what I say?
Justin.
Whatever,
man.
Man.
Confused. Carry on. You're talking about. Yeah, it was terrible.
But you kind of gave the front end of it some cred, and I
it
thought
was interesting until the action started.
I thought it fucking sucked throughout. God, that was terrible, man.
All right.
That show was fucking terrible.
Right.
But all right, don't just brush me off. Don't just brush me off.
God.
All right, credit you with Kenny Loggins. All right, credit you with Kenny Loggins, a Yacht Rock legend, and
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Why are you so fucking fixated on getting out of here?
Because I do hour shows, and it's an hour late, and I got things to edit and still do. So, and we're live, and I shouldn't have to be explaining that live on the air, but apparently you were going to make me do that. So, since you did, that is why I do want to thank one more time Mooney's here on 1531 Military Road. good wings, which, by the way, I left a couple before we started doing this show. Hopefully they're still
Huffy
sitting there.
grad. No,
that I
bro.
can get back.
Nah, bro. Oh, no, there they go. There they go. They're right there.
Perfect. Oh, and they're in a to-go container, which will help me get out of here even
I'm going to
quicker,
take
too.
them.
All right, guys, thank you if you actually did watch this live. If you're listening or watching in demand sometime on Thursday, yeah, this was quite an eventful show. I'll give you that much.
Well, hold on. I'm sorry. I got to hold on again. You seem very put off by my performance tonight. I think it was. You're crazy.
I don't think it was your best.
I think you're crazy.
I think you're crazy.
Like I think you're fucking crazy. I had good takes. All right. I had good takes and good banter. You're crazy.
Good interruptions. Good.
That one
good
time.
Bathroom break.
That one time, and you had nothing fucking important to say.
All right, that's fair. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Mooney's, and thank you everyone for watching or listening. I'll be back. Brand new episode. Benjamin Albaugh joins tomorrow.